Hey Mena Warriors, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm talking about why stress, even if you eat and drink healthily, can make you fat. And I'm going through that right at the moment. I am definitely more pudgy, particularly around the middle. I've been working probably around 15-hour days. I know that is not sustainable. It's not something I would recommend to anyone. I've been doing it for 10 days to 2 weeks full on right now. And yeah, I am really feeling the strain of it all. I went into my cutlery cupboard this morning. I even said out loud, I actually have no idea what I'm doing here, and then realized I was looking for the milk. And that has been the repeat of the day and all recent days. So stress does make you fat, even if you're doing all the other things right. So if you are gaining weight, and I'm going to break it down today, why we have a greater propensity to stress as we go through the menopause, and help you understand why you might be gaining weight even though you think you're doing all the right things, and give you a few tips to help you understand how to, I suppose, best manage it and get through if you're in a stressful period, knowing that you can get leaner again. One of the most important things that you can do is actually not stress about getting more chunky. It's frustrating, I know, but if I stress about it, it's going to make the situation even worse, and I could be like a balloon. So I will go into it. I'm going to talk about the science behind it today, the things that you can do to improve it, and hopefully you'll find it really, really helpful. And also, it might just give you a bit of a break if you're thinking, I have no idea what's going on and I'm doing all the right things and still I'm getting fatter. So, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate Hartley. I'm 54, taken non-HRT. I have never taken HRT. It could be a challenge to record this today. Talk about natural menopause. I have nothing against HRT. I think for some women it is absolutely spot on. It's just what they need. I chose not to. I went through perimenopause early, did struggle with some symptoms, and then wish I'd known back then what I know now, because there is so much that we actually can do to improve how we feel. And even if you're on HRT, it is not your ticket to lifestyle as you want it. It just doesn't happen. And sometimes HRT, when we talk about weight specifically, it can actually make you gain weight. So I get that question a lot. If I take HRT, will I lose weight? No, not necessarily. It just helps you, obviously balance those hormones. So the science behind it is, our estrogen, as our sex hormones fall, but primarily estrogen. Estrogen, we have estrogen receptors in pretty much every cell around the body. So when our estrogen levels start to fall, then that necessarily makes our cortisol, so one of our stress hormones, rise. And when cortisol rises, so does our insulin, which is our fat storing hormone. So when we're going through perimenopause, it's all fairly erratic. Your hormones are all over the place. And as you sort of peter out into postmenopause, and things will settle down a little bit. So if we're in the thick of it, hang on in there, because things will get better. But because of that falling estrogen and the rising cortisol, stress management has to be more important than ever. And it's very easy to say, oh, well, you need to manage your stress better. And you're thinking, I can't. I've got elderly parents. I'm a carer. I've got, you might have a disabled child. You may be working all hours God sends. You might be worrying about your finances. Your relationship might be coming to an end. All of these things have a huge, huge impact on our stress levels, as does the food and the drink that we consume. So even if you have got a really laid back life, you've got it sus, you're in love with the perfect person, you've got the best job, or you don't need to work, your finances are secure, you love your life, but you're not feeding your body and drinking the right stuff for your body, that is also stress. So of course, if you're eating and drinking the wrong sort of stuff, that will make you fat. But if it's also compounding that weight gain because of the stress element. So it's not just the stress from deadlines, walking down dark alleys at night, breakdown of relationships, even packing and wondering how the heck you're going to get on holiday. That can be quite stressful too. It is, you have to look at it from a holistic point of view. And if so, going to bed with your phone near your head, that is a stressor. The electromagnetic fields they radiate from these devices. Get rid of the bloody things. Get them out of your bedroom, ideally, or if not, just move them away from your head. So many of us lie with them, either in our bed, we lie on them, they're near our head. You don't want that. That as well as a stressor. So just understand that as estrogen falls, cortisol rises, and as cortisol rises, it makes our insulin rise. Insulin plays a really vital role in the body. It's really important. You might have heard of insulin and diabetes 2 issue, but just understand that if your stress levels are high, you're going to store more fat because of that cortisol insulin relationship. The other thing with insulin and cortisol is it tends to make you gain fat around the middle, so the visceral fat, which is the not good fat. I mean, no excessive fat is good, but the visceral fat is particularly inflammatory. It's metabolically active. So the adipose tissue, which is the fat cells under your skin, that is not metabolically active. It can make you look lumpy and bumpy, but it's not metabolically active. Visceral fat is. And the more visceral fat you have, the greater the inflammation in your body. And I think one of the easiest ways of looking at a healthy lifestyle when we go through perimenopause and beyond is to reduce inflammation. So, feed your gut health, the microbiome. Make sure that you're eating ideally some fermented foods, lots of vegetables, healthy protein, reduce your ultra processed foods, cut out sugar and refined carbs as much as you can do. We don't actually need them, and I know sugar is highly addictive, but we don't need it. I have a friend who has a brain tumor and is inoperable, and she's still with us and really, really healthy years later, because when she had her diagnosis, they managed to take a bit of the brain tumor out, but not all of it. It's too far in. And she decided to completely overhaul her lifestyle and remove sugar completely, absolutely, like immediately. No alcohol, no sugar, no ultra processed foods. She really does treat her body like a temple. And every time she goes for a scan, nothing has changed for the worse. Sometimes it's actually reduced in size. So and this is like 7-8 years on. She's doing really, really well. Cancer cells, out of interest, feed on sugar. We all have cancer cells in our body. Our immune system, if it works well, does a good job at keeping those cancer cells at bay. But if we're consistently eating the wrong things and drinking the wrong things, some of the things we have no control over, like the toxins in our environment, maybe the chemicals in your water that you might be drinking, and that sort of thing. But there is a lot that we still can do. And I highly encourage every single one of us to take steps to make sure that we are following that anti-inflammatory lifestyle as much as we can. Eat food like a human. You'll find also, I mean, even for me recently, I've only been eating because I need to survive. For me, food right now, and I know I should not say, I probably should not admit this publicly at all, but I'm human and we all do it. I'm just literally eating to stay alive. I have not got time to sit down and think, oh, I can have a lovely balanced meal right now. I'm cramming protein down as much as I can. What I do eat is healthy, but I'm just not eating enough of it. And the crazy thing is, when you are working really hard, the brain uses up about 20% of your energy. Well, that is quite a caloric burner. So you imagine you're not eating that much, like I'm not doing at the minute. Your brain is on like overdrive. Even when you're asleep, you're not sleeping very well because your brain's so busy. And still you're getting fat. I mean, why is that? And it is down to that cortisol response and the insulin. So stress, it's an absolute flipping nightmare if you want to get into good shape. And what you can do is make a few changes. So anti-inflammatory, feed your body like a human, drink plenty of water, eat plenty of protein. The body, particularly as we go through perimenopause and beyond, we do not synthesize protein as well as we used to do. So it means basically we need to ideally eat more protein. If you're hopefully strength training, then the protein is going to help to build those lean muscles, which are going to help to boost your metabolism. Strength training, or muscles in particular, actually suck glucose directly out of your bloodstream, which is brilliant, because then you're not getting that insulin response, that fat storing response. It's like they're literally getting rid of some of that glucose, which is really, really good for you. So the more muscle tissue you have, the more energy that you will burn, even when you're at rest, which is why strength training is so great. And I also, for somebody who loves strength training, for the last 10 days to however long I've been doing these 15-hour days, I have not been strength training either, because I know this is just a small window. I'm dying to get back to it. I'm literally dying to get to a stage where I can start to look after my body again. But I've got some very, very tight deadlines. They need to be met, and I've set them. But I don't want to continue like this for long. So honestly, I will end up in a padded cell. I probably won't even remember my name. So please do not think, oh, that's kind of cool to get away with it. It's not. It's not big and it's not clever. It's just a season of life that I'm going through at the moment. But do you know what I think? We all strive for balance in our life, and we think everything has to be, yay, nicely equal and even Stevens. That's just such a load of baloney. Sometimes you'll be like I am in a period of really hard focus work to achieve a few deadlines. The vast majority of us, we think, oh, we have to balance. I have to be the best wife. I have to be the best mother. I have to be the best fur mother. I have to be the best gardener. So you just have to, I think, give yourself grace when you're in a lot of stress, but just understand that it's making you fat, and to not lose sleep about the fact that you're not feeling as in shape as you used to do. Because at some point, when you get through this very busy period of your life, or very stressful period of your life, things will improve. And the way I look at it, in fact, I've even got a twitchy eye now. This eye keeps twitching like crazy. The way I look at it is, this one day, hopefully, will make a really good story when I've got through to the other side of all this stress right now. And in all honesty, the last 18 months or so have been horrid. I don't, apart from the years of my divorce, these have been some of the worst few months of my life. And it's like it's got worse and worse and worse. The thing that's going on at the minute is, with all these deadlines, is the fact that once I've hit these deadlines, things should start to, I feel like I'm on the flat top of the mountain now, and things should start to go downhill again soon. So it's all worth the heavy duty work. But if you're in a phase like that, or a time of your life like that, just go with it. Do what you can. Be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and feed yourself with the good food, so that you're at least giving your body what it needs. Drink plenty of water, but the vast majority of us do not drink enough water. And actually, when we are dehydrated, the body hangs on to fat as well. I did quite an in-depth episode a few months back about vasopressin and the fact that when the body is dehydrated, we actually cannot shed fat. We almost go into hibernation mode. Our body will turn glucose into fructose, and you may have heard in the media that fructose is the thing that makes you fat. It's just again, it's just hype. Essentially, when a bear goes into hibernation, they gorge all the berries ready to make the fructose that's going to keep them fat over the winter so they survive. Well, when we are dehydrated, a similar sort of thing happens. So if fat loss is one of your goals, try and build some resilience to stress in as much as you can. And you can sort the food out, you can drink more water, you can try and get to sleep earlier, even if you're tempted to watch something on the television or the film or whatever it might be. You have to be quite bossy with yourself. I was bossy with myself last night because my sleep has just been, apart from the fact of only having about 4 or 5 hours a night, it's broken sleep too. And that's partly down to the fact I've got a dog who's got an upset tummy at the moment. And then I've got a cat that drives me nuts because she starts yowling early in the morning as soon as she hears me moving. And then when I'm awake, my brain's so busy, I can't go back to sleep again. I'm nothing to be getting a badge for. Hopefully this won't last long. But this is life. We get into the thick of these things, and it's very easy to berate ourselves that so much is going on and we should be doing better. And no, give yourself grace, but just manage what you can, and the things that you can control, improve them. The other thing to note is, when you've got high cortisol from stress, it does affect your melatonin, which is your sleepy hormone. So that's another reason why you might not be sleeping so well. The other thing is, when you don't sleep well, your body doesn't rest and recover. The glial cells in the brain, they don't actually flush. So it's actually like putting your brain in a kind of dishwasher. It helps to flush the brain so it's fresh in the morning, which is probably one of the reasons why I was looking for the milk in the cutlery drawer earlier. And our body recovers, it repairs itself. The other thing to know that when you sleep badly is it affects your ghrelin and your leptin, which are your hunger and your satiety hormones. So it means that you're feeling more hungry than you actually are the next day, which can last up to about 3 days after a bad night's sleep. And it means that you need to eat more in order to feel full. So be aware of that. And on days like that, load up early in the morning with as much protein as you can do, because that will help to mitigate that need for the fast carbs, which your brain is probably making you reach for. Just also want to point out that the body confidence movement, I am all for it, 100%. But there is also an element to that, which is, well, I'm fat, I love my curves, I'm healthy-ish because I'm happy. That's actually not true. A fat body is inflammatory. And while you might be emotionally happy, which is great, I really hope that for you, a fat, happy person is not a healthy person. So just beware of that. And as you get older, these things come around and bite you in the bum. Fat acts like a sponge. It hangs onto our hormones, which is why you're more prone to things like the breast cancer, the bowel cancer, the colon cancer, the various other cancers that you're more prone to, because your fat actually makes estrogen. I'll cover that in a second, but it is also inflammatory. Now you might be thinking, okay, well, I'm going through perimenopause, so isn't it good that I've got like more estrogen in my body? No, because as our hormones are declining, you'll have heard of something called estrogen dominance, and that means that our progesterone and our testosterone have fallen faster than our estrogen. So in balance, our estrogen is, we've got too much of it. And at the end of the day, we don't need it. We're no longer having periods. We're no longer in our childbearing years. The body does not need that estrogen. And while, yes, it takes a while to make that transition and it takes a while to get used to it, there are so many pluses to being postmenopausal. Whenever I Google an image or, do a search for like menopausal woman, they're all like, or they're crying. I have never ever found an upbeat image of a postmenopausal woman, which is so much BS, because postmenopause can be amazing. Apart from the fact I'm super stressed at the moment, I still classify myself as one of the healthiest, happiest people I know. Never touched the hormone treatments, went through perimenopause early, have a very, very stressful life right now, but I still think I'm one of the healthiest, happiest people that I know. So it is a load of society, the medical world want us to feel helpless and victimized almost, that we need to search for help for somewhere else outside of us. It's really time that we start to advocate for ourselves. And that might be pushing your doctor to give you HRT if you really feel you need it, because a lot of doctors are ignoring that. It might also be that you're being given HRT because you're feeling low mood, you've got anxiety, and they're thinking, oh, it's, low mood associated with menopause. Well, it's proven, HRT is proven not to work with low mood and depression associated with menopause. So antidepressants do work if it's not related to menopause. But if it's a menopause related low mood issue or anxiety related to menopause because of the rising cortisol, makes you feel more anxious. And I went through that myself. I'm a psychotherapist. I've been a psychotherapist for 20 years, plus years. I'm an anxiety specialist. I knew what was happening. I recognized the signals. And so I was, it didn't stress me out too much. But it does not take away the fact that I still sometimes, that anxiety, I can really feel pounding away at times. By the way, if you ever want to chat about your anxiety, you can, I do one-to-one consultations. I can do it through Zoom, or we can do it face-to-face if you're local. Anxiety is 100% treatable, and 100% treatable without drugs. So just know that, please, because I've worked with a lot of teenagers, a lot of men and women, and for all sorts of different reasons across the board, major trauma, not major trauma, partners of addicts, etc., etc. It's amazing how much it can help you if you're struggling on that scale of anxiety. So don't feel stuck, don't feel isolated. Just give me a message. I do a free consultation, first of all, to make sure that you think that what I can do will help you. So you're not tied into anything. But if you want to make contact, then just either put me a comment below, or you can email me at katehartleyuk@gmail.com. Then that's more private for you, and we can take it from there. So tips on how to manage your stress. Get out into nature, walk in nature, because being outside in nature, it just helps you connect back to, I think, where we all came from. And be aware of the feeling of the breeze on your face if it's windy or breezy, the sound of the leaves in the trees rustling, the bird songs, the river undulating. There is so much that we can get from walking out in nature. Plus, the trees give off beneficial things for us, which are going to help you relax. And you're outside into the ultraviolet light, which is great for your vitamin D levels, helps to promote your serotonin, which is your happy hormone. When your serotonin is coming out nicely, that then helps your melatonin, which is your sleepy hormone. So getting outside into nature is really, really important. Deep breathing will also really help you. Don't worry too much about the specifics. I think if you're not used to deep breathing already, do box breathing. So in through your nose for 4, hold it for 4, out through your nose or your mouth, whichever you find easier, for 4, and hold it out for 4. If you can do it for longer, so 6, 6, 6, 6. So it is like a box. So in for 6, hold it for 6, out for 6, hold it out for 6. And just choose a ratio that works best for you. Do that a few times. If you wake up in the middle of the night, box breathing is a really easy thing to do. And focus on your breath. Just really, really focus on your breath and allow the other thoughts not to come in. They might come in, they often do, but as soon as you realize the other thoughts have come back, focus back in on your breath, and that will help you eventually go back off to sleep again. Strength train, like I mentioned earlier, it's really good for your insulin levels, which is going to help you burn fat more effectively. But it also releases myokines, which are known as hope molecules. It's very good for your mental health. It's just an absolute necessity for us as we get older to prevent brittle bone disease, to keep you feeling and looking more confident. Journaling, I think, is something that can be really helpful too. If you struggle with all the other stuff, I think to sit down with a pen and paper, to get your thoughts out on paper, it makes such a huge difference because they're no longer in your head. And when you're writing them down or typing them down or whatever works best for you, it's you can have quite a few aha moments. So give that a try. And if you're really, really tight for time, then journaling is something that you might not want to do. Do allow yourself some downtime, unless, like me, you're in a period of just like there's absolutely no wiggle room. But know that in the future, commit to when you're out of that completely intensive time, that you're then going to give yourself time to rest and to recoup. I know that in about 5 days' time, I'm going to be traveling a bit, and I will have to take the foot off the pedal a bit. And so I know I have got an end date to this crazy time at the moment, and that makes it more bearable. In actual fact, it's like if you're under pain, and it's only going to last for 30 seconds, you can bear that pain a lot more than if you have pain and you don't know when it's going to end. And the same applies to when you're in a really busy season. If you know there's an end date, it makes it much more manageable. So if you are in a period of stress and you're gaining fat, know that there are certain things that you can do to help reduce that weight gain. But if that stressful period is going to be here for a while, go with it. Give yourself grace. Don't worry about it too much. Acknowledge the fact that, yes, I mean, I'm definitely more chunky than I normally am right now. And I know that when this season is over, I will get back to feeling lean and strong again. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I think that's something that, like I said earlier, it is all about doing what we can, given the resources that we have at our disposal, and not worrying too much about getting that balance ideally right. because it's just untenable. And actually that idea of having the work-life balance is a bit of a myth. There might be a few people who have worked incredibly hard and now have that work-life balance, but at some stage in their life, they probably did not. And if you're going through a season of hard right now, stick with it. Don't worry too much. Everybody else can adjust. Maybe they can help you and support you through this season of hard, like you would be supporting them in their season of hard. And know that the fat that you're hanging on to is your body's natural survival instinct. There is not an awful lot we can do about it. If you try and starve yourself, you're just going to increase that stress response. So eat well, drink water, try and sleep as much as you can. If you're able to, get some strength training in, and otherwise just buckle down for a bit. Know that there's a glimmer at the end of the tunnel, and go for that glimmer, let it turn into daylight, and then really dive into getting back to, a lifestyle that you feel comfortable with and that gives you the results that you want. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for your company. I'd be really interested to hear in the comments if you're going through a period of stress at the moment. Are you finding too that weight gain is an issue for you? It might be, I think genetics has a certain amount to play on it. There are certain people who they're always skinny no matter what happens to them in life. I think for the vast majority of us, that is not the case. But it'd be really interesting to hear what your thoughts are. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're keen on making sure you don't miss future episodes, click the subscribe button, and then you'll be notified when the next one comes out, which is every Monday morning at 10 a.m. UK time. Thanks so much, and I will see you soon.